Okay, so what's that again? It's Bri Moore at Blunts+Moore, Keeping It Lit with the Keeping It Lit podcast.
Smoking on kills on gelato. Shout out, blowing gas like a nigga hit the lotto. Loud pack in a Gucci print backpack. I do the dash in a 392 scat pack.
Alright, y'all, man, we here at Blunts+Moore, man, the Keep It Lit podcast, man. Episode 6, you feel me? We got the owner right here, Bri, man. We finna discuss how she got here, why she here, what she doing here, you know what I'm saying? So, you feel me, man? Y'all get ready for this, man. And the first question I really wanted to ask you was, like, what made you want to get into cannabis? Like, why did you choose that as a career out of all the things you could have been doing? Because you was doing something else, right?
Yeah, but it's weed. It's weed, man.
So you actually doing smoking weed, like, yeah.
No, so I'm gonna make this very long story short. I used to work at Morgan Stanley, an investment firm, right? For 10 years of my life. Made good cake, was cool with that. I hated what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Point blank period. My dukes of all people came to me and was like, yo, I'm messing people up in Denver. They got dispensaries. Do you want to, go into the game? I'm like, yeah, girl, of course. You know what I mean? That was a no-brainer for me. And so we went, checked it out. It looked cool. Moved up there. I became a bud tender for $11 an hour, very humbly.
Wow.
Because
a bud tender?
Yes, a bud tender is how I started this. I did not start on the top. I came from less than nothing, so I started with just that nothing. But the thing about it was we wanted to understand how to run a business. We didn't just want to own it, right? Because we had an opportunity to give some people some money and take some ownership.
Right.
And so I was like, I don't want to go in like that where they can take advantage, skew the numbers, whatever. I don't know how to run that shit.
Right.
And so I became a bud tender and worked my way up to an assistant manager in 6 shifts because they realized, damn, this girl can do some more than just sling dope. You know what I'm saying? She got some shit going on. So, I mean, she good at that too, don't sleep. But they made me an assistant manager. I ended up becoming the general manager, moved to another store and had to start from the bottom again.
Wow.
And worked my way up to a general manager. And within 3 months, we more than doubled our revenue.
Wow.
We renamed it, rebranded, remodeled everything because they were going to bring concentrates from California to Denver. And so I was like, well, let's, get ahead of the game before they can do that. Let's get the dab. Well, we're known for
the dab. That's what I heard. I heard the dab.
So when you're saying from California to Colorado, right, or to Denver, excuse me, what implications or laws were in effect at that point? Because it became legal, 2016 to actually, so from different states to different states. How did you go about being able to distribute from one to another?
So forgive me because I skipped. I came from Atlanta and then went to Denver. Okay. And so California, they were creating some new laws saying that California was going to be able to, it didn't happen, but they were saying that they were going to be able to bring their products into the Denver market.
Okay.
And so from what everybody in Denver knew, Cali has the best shit. So they were scared. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be outsold. We got to make a name for ourselves right now. And so that's what we did. It didn't happen that way. They're still working on it where you can kind of, they're trying to create a law where you can cross state lines with the product, but it's a work in progress. When it happens, it's going to go crazy because some of these bigger brands in California are going to definitely have a leg up on all the little guys.
Yeah, I can just imagine the tax implications, the tariffs that it's going to be to charge. But I can also see it though being the nation's #1 cash crop for revenue for different states. So that can be a huge thing. And if you've got the inside note on that,
Not yet, but I'm working on it. I'm looking for that inside note every day.
And so when you got into it, like, you did your research to, like, see that you would make a lot of money in cannabis? Like, before you just got in it?
For me, it wasn't really about the money. It still isn't quite yet. And I know that sounds all cliche and cheesy, but it's just, for me, it was the mission, right? And so we are not represented in this industry. We know that, right? And for me, it was a mission to be able to be a pioneer, to be able to kind of tap into this industry in a way that no one had yet. And so even just becoming the general manager in Denver was insane for what was going on. The first time I got called an N-word with a hard ER was because I was a general manager of a dispensary.
Wow.
And the woman felt like there's no way that you could be. And I'm like, actually, yes, I am. We doing that.
And I'm the only one. There's nobody above me. I am she.
Me. And so, for me, it's just the passion for the plant, right? And so I used to have migraines working at Morgan Stanley, handling millions
Trust
of other
me.
people's dollars.
I come from a banking background and having your 6 and 63 and Series 7s and having to deal with people's money and investment. Yes, there would be times where I would want to leave work and shoot myself. Just because, dealing with people's money is sensitive and they treat you like a piece of shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But you're the expert. So I do have a question. When you started the business, coming with the background in finance and investments, did you take what you learned in order to?
100%. For me, so I wasn't a broker or anything, I was in operations. And so my job was to make everything happen.
And make sure everything was compliant.
That part. And so I was able to kind of take that and transfer it to something that I actually love and care about and am passionate about, right? And so I, in Morgan Stanley, no disrespect, but I didn't care for the way we conducted business and treated people, right? I had a mild heart attack at 29 from the stress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you okay now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was terrified, but my cardiologist was like, no. He was like, your heart is good, girl, but every time I bring up your job, this shit go pumping. So
for your health.
Literally for your
he
health.
literally wrote me a 2-week note to be off to go find another job. So I mean, it was that
We're about to
stressful.
kill you over here. We're gonna let you go.
Seriously, but a decade of working for
Right.
someone else and being that stressed, and then also realizing that you had a ceiling on whatever you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period.
The more money you make, the less that was going to come into your pocket, as you already know in the brokerage businesses. The bigger people take bigger cuts, and you're at the bottom, and the more money you make, it's like you're already capped off. That's it. You've made your quota. You're done.
That's
but they're
it.
still expected to bring in more.
So wait, get back to this though. So really, you use cannabis as for your health though. That's
Yes.
what really got you into it too. It helped you with your migraine. So you actually got a love for cannabis too. Like
I used to pop about 4 800 milligram ibuprofens a day. You're only supposed to take one.
right.
But because I had chronic migraines and I had to work, there is no, oh, my head hurts so bad, I gotta go home. There's none of that. And so I was popping it so much that I started developing symptoms of a stomach ulcer. And so the homie was like, hey, listen, why don't you just smoke and chill? Like, oh my God, I'm working at Morgan Stanley now. College, cool. But out here in these corporate streets.
Yeah,
But
you don't like weed. That's how.
that's what I said. And they were like, girl, shut up and smoke this weed. And I did. And I no longer take medicine. I probably can count on one hand how many times I've popped ibuprofen since then.
You self-medicating with weed, right?
Period. I don't take medicine at all. Like ever.
Wow.
Like ever. I quit smoking cigarettes because of CBD. I smoked cigarettes for 15 years. I started smoking CBD vape pens instead.
Wow, maybe
I don't smoke cigarettes anymore.
Because I smoke cigarettes.
It's been over a year. You know what I mean? And so in believing what this is, that's what pushes me forward. And not only what this plant is, but what these opportunities can be, right? Because we missed the tech industry. We missed all that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we
Right.
completely
Right.
missed it. And here's something that we created, whether it was underground or not, that we're missing out on. And so for me, it was important for me to step into the light of it all, create a path for myself that will help create paths for others.
Right. And then I see you at the city council meeting, like talking about the taxing. Like, what's really going on with that? Like, why is it a state tax or this tax? Like 4 different taxes. That's just because the white man, excuse me, I mean, say this, the white man trying to get some money off his weed. Is that why they just taxing like crazy? Like,
There's taxes and tariffs on everything, right? So gases, food.
but it's like overly done with the weed. Like, it's like
This-
3-4 different taxes.
Well,
There's-
they know how much money you could be making.
Exactly.
There is no industry that's taxed as highly as this one is, right?
I know
And
it.
so we're taxed on different levels. So we have taxes that people don't even realize are taxes, right? So the fact that you make my product have to be childproof, that's a fucking tax.
Oh, it is.
I have to go and now buy specific
items.
right, exactly, specific packaging. I have to buy specific labels. All of these things cost money. And when you're doing it 128 times for every pound that you sell, it's
That's a lot of
expensive.
money.
And so then all of those costs, the cultivation tax, right? The excise, so you have to, every time the product moves, it gets taxed. Guess who's responsible for that? The retail store, which means guess who's responsible for that? The customer. Because it's all rolled into the price, right? So we roll our excise tax into our price here to try to make it a little bit more affordable, but it's extremely
You can't
expensive.
get around it, really.
Yeah, you can't get around it.
Period. And we try them, I argue with vendors all the time as they come in with their expensive products. I'm like, my neighborhood cannot afford this.
So
You know
why
what I'm
would I put
saying?
it up here?
Period. And then,
Right.
oh, well, no, if you do, no, it's not if I do this or I do that. I'm not going to insult anybody by having an $80 apron here.
Yeah, that
Hey.
doesn't make
Good
sense,
point.
right?
Go
Because then
right to
that's,
the hood. That's
and that's gonna put it where people go out and get stuff on the
Illegally,
corner
right?
illegally,
Yeah.
and that kind of defeats the purpose of having a business set with
legal cannabis.
The sessions and things are going to go on anyway because of the taxes, right? But for me, it's an insult when I am in one of the lowest income neighborhoods in the Bay, and we've got the highest prices. I'm not going to do that shit.
Ain't nobody come here then. You wouldn't get no business either. People be like, they come
I refuse to do it. And so what we were fighting at City Hall was to say, okay, our margins, people get it messed up. And they think that, oh, you guys are a cannabis store, you make millions and millions and millions. Yeah, the store may make millions, but we're taxed so highly that we only see about a 10 or 15% profit, and 10% of that shit gets eaten up by Oakland taxes.
Right.
And so there's no money left at the end of the day. And so my fear, beyond, it's not for me about personal gain, but Oakland needs an industry right now.
Sure.
Right.
Point blank period. And you all have to understand, with no disrespect to Oakland, coming from Atlanta and coming to Oakland, I see that we're in a situation where we need to be able to bring revenue into the city, and this industry is the one to do it. But if you take everything from us before we get a footing to stand on, then we're not going to last here.
Yeah,
period.
Ain't nobody profit.
And so one of the things that the hearing that everybody was saying was, okay, there was a lawyer. She said, I represent a lot of cannabis businesses. None of them even look at Oakland when considering where to put their businesses because of the taxes. This should be the mecca of cannabis.
Right.
The best weed.
California, Oakland,
So the attorney was just basically saying that there was no way that her clients were going to bring their business here because why? It costs too much. It doesn't make sense. When in Berkeley, it's like 2%. San Francisco is 1.2%. Here it's 10%.
Wow.
That's insane.
Weird.
They don't want us to win with it. That's why.
So if I get gobbled up, who comes in here? Big companies.
And take over.
Big
We
companies.
shut y'all down.
We'll create the laws and let y'all do your little thing and pay for all the things that we fucked up
Right.
in our taxes. Because y'all's taxes being fucked up, I just opened 7 months ago. That has nothing to do with me. But yet you're trying to make up for your deficit with my business. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to open the shit and get it going, provide jobs, and I'm cool with paying you taxes, but damn, can you chill a little bit?
Right.
And so one of the things that Denver did was they slowly increased the taxes, right? So they gave their business a year, 2 years, 3 years to grow. Every business that starts in debt.
And they start off as a failure. Every independent, as you know, sole proprietors coming from the banking background, you know that every business in the first 3 years, they're set up to fail. It takes a business 3 years to evolve and then come out of the deficit.
Blunts+Moore.
Right.
But no, seriously, ducking the red is a serious game, and it's so funny because every time we get to the point where we're like, okay, we're healthy, we're gonna see a few dollars right now. Oakland's like, actually no, those are ours.
You owe another 5%.
Those are ours.
Right.
And so our fights in City Hall, unfortunately, some good has happened. They've done some good for small business. But small business is $500,000 and less. I mean, that's
not what your
Yeah, that
revenues
ain't
are
what you're
working
trying
at,
to
right? But no, I'm assuming the revenue is triple time the 500,000.
exactly.
If you're looking at that on a fiscal year return, it's more than 500,000. Just
period.
period.
And so they probably are helping 5 people, which I'm grateful.
Right.
But there's a lot of us who need a little bit more relief from our taxes. And then we also have. That's Oakland. Then we also have our federal taxes. You know what I'm saying? We have California taxes. It's not just Oakland.
Like 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times before it gets to the store, and then 4 or 5 times afterwards.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
So with Trump being in office, as you know, Trump did change the laws with business owners. Did that have an effect on Blunts+Moore?
So,
Or at least in that industry.
This is an illegal business in the eyes of the federal law, and so I cannot apply the same tax rules to my business as many others, right? So say we make $10 million, right? And $2 million of that goes to me paying my staff. Any other business can write off that $2 million and say, okay, no, I didn't collect that $2 million, so I shouldn't have to pay you taxes on it. Well, because those employees were breaking the law while I was paying them, I still have to pay taxes on that $2 million that I'm not even taking in.
And then you have to pay sanctions for those employees, and on top of that, wow.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get him out of office immediately. Make sure everybody we get out and vote.
Right.
No, I'm serious.
And many more reasons in this cannabis industry situation, definitely.
Right.
But I think one of the things we were talking about too is just kind of how this journey happened. And so from Denver, and running the store and everything, we were watching Vice. and we saw former council member Brooks on there, Destiny Brooks on there, and she was like, "Oh, I want African Americans to have ownership in dispensaries," and we were like, what did she say? Right. And so Ma Dukes picked up the laptop. I'm like, "What you doing over there, girl?" Knowing good and well what she was doing. She's like, send her a letter. Right. My mom was always a paralegal, and so she went to a cannabis business law firm. And she was their senior paralegal there. So she hit it from the compliance side, I hit it from operations side.
You got mom got your back.
Oh, yeah, she's the one that drugged me into this. I used to steal her papers out the closet, man.
Shouts out to mom.
If you follow me on Instagram, you know about her. But she sent her a letter, and Destiny responded that night. It was a Sunday. And the letter basically just said, "I'm a senior paralegal at a cannabis business law firm. My daughter is a GM at a very well-known dispensary. We're both African American. Want to shake her hand." She invited us out. Instead of shaking her hand for 5 minutes, we chilled with her for like 3 days, just trying to help her craft the initiative, craft the legislation, because she knew the political side and we knew the cannabis side. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes when you come from politics to try to create legislation on an industry you don't know anything about, it doesn't make sense. Right. And so she welcomed us, like, "Okay, wait a minute, you have a piece to this that we don't have. Help us craft this." And she had us meet with the city officials and the black clergy and the community leaders. Wow. And we all sat around tables for days just trying to get this drawn up. Flew back to Denver, watched it hit City Hall floor, watched it pass. Ma Dukes moved here. I moved here shortly afterwards. And we just started from there, just trying to figure out how to navigate the program that we just helped create. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, now what do? We kind of have a little bit of a leg up because we have an understanding of what it is.
What's exactly the name? It was like an equity...
Social equity program.
Social equity program.
That came into place, what, 2016, 2017?
In 2017. And so in February is when we were here working on it in 2017. I only remember because of the post. But it basically says that if you've been arrested for cannabis, or if you live in a neighborhood that has a heavy rate of arrest for cannabis, then you can apply for this program.
That's crazy.
And so we had, an equity applicant. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Won't go into that. And so it didn't work out. And my mom is friends with Mike Marshall.
I got
She's cool with him. She became cool with him when she came out here.
Small world, man.
Right?
It's crazy.
Of all people,
Biggest weed song in the world.
The biggest weed song, but he was the person that introduced us to Alfonso Blunt.
Right, Tucky.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So his name is Blunts.
The Blunts+Moore, the name. I just.
Both of y'all names combined.
So I was just gonna ask, is that how it happened? How it organically formed? Because the name within itself, Blunts+Moore, that's so perfect, but it's almost like it was meant to be, right?
The universe brought it
together.
She said, because there were a couple of people, and the first one that she mentioned, she said, "Oh, Mike wants us to meet with Alfonso Blunt." I said, "What?" She said, I said, "His name is what?" I said, and she kept trying to go on with this. I'm like, "Oh, like, stop that." His name is Blunt. She's like, I said, "Girl, we're about to have a dispensary," and that was in October of the year before we got it. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew, because and then the path that I had been on, everything had just been working out so beautifully. I felt like I finally was on the right path. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this is gonna work out. Blunt? His name is Blunt? We trying to sell weed? I got 5 on it? Like, this is supposed to fucking happen. Right. And it did. And so we met with Alfonso, super dope, humble, nice, family man, had worked in the city before, so knew people, knew a lot of people in Oakland. It just felt right. Amongst all of the people that I met with, it just felt right with him. And I'm glad I chose him because he picked that goddamn lottery ball and won, child.
So you guys actually do a lottery, luck, like pure luck.
So not even just that. So what we had to do is we had to create we had an application, right? And the application just basically said, how are you going to run your cannabis business? What are you going to do? Who are you going to hire? What security systems will you have? These things. Right. And because I had already done this for years, I was able to say, okay, here's how you run a cannabis business. You got the business plan right
instantly. Like the plan is right here.
Right. It was in there, but we put it on paper. But long story short, I think I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this, but I think there were 189 people that applied, and out of that, only 36 of us went to the lottery because we were the only ones who they felt were qualified enough to attempt this journey that we're on. And so, out of those 36, because we had a strong team obviously in Cannabis, and then we had the strong ties to Oakland with Tucky. So out of those 36, we were one of the last 4, and they put your ball in a freaking bin and they're rolling it. Like, it's nerve-wracking as fuck. Like, I should have smoked before I went.
Like when they're doing like new structures in San Francisco, they do like the same thing with the lottery and the housing for the new skyrises. It's nerve-wracking because you've got like hundreds of people in the room. You're like, please call my number, so I can get a nice unit.
Normally, right? But for us, it was please don't call our number. You had to be one of the last 4 people. You know what I'm saying? In the bin. So they're calling 36, 35,
So these are numbers to be
36.
eliminated.
Right. And so what they're doing is they're creating a line, right? Because they're only awarding 4 licenses. But if for some reason, so they give you 90 days after you go through this lottery process. And in the 90 days, you have to find funding and a place and all of these things.
Right.
If you cannot find what you need in those 90 days, then you get knocked off, and then it goes to number 5.
Wow.
And then it goes to number 4. So they had to number it like that. And so they're, calling the numbers. I'm shaking. Fonzo's like, you gotta pee up my bread my whole life. It's in a basket. But I had to remember he was just joining the journey. It was all still new for him. We had known each other for a month. He didn't know about my past 4 years of trying to get to this point. You know what I'm saying? Right. So for him, he's like, girl, what's wrong? Like, for him, it's like, I hope we get it. I pray we get it. But it's not like my whole life is on the line. For me, it was like my whole fucking life. It's like, I don't moved across the country twice. I need this shit to go. And then by the time they called 20, I just calmed down.
Wait, that's the magical number?
I don't know why when they called 20. No, so they called 36, 35, 34, 30. They calling everybody's number. I'm waiting for number 5 to not be us.
5 was the number.
When they say number 5, that means the last 4 balls in the basket.
Those are it.
Right. And so by the time they got to number 20, I calmed down. It was eerie as fuck, like a movie. And I just started like flashing like all I had done in my life and all I had tried to do. Like for real.
She's got a documentary already going live.
And I'm like, okay, you've done this, you've done that. Look at the good you've done. Look at what you're trying to create. I looked over at Fonzo. I'm like, he's a good dude. He's a solid man. He's here for a reason too. We're supposed to do everything. I'm like, we're here because we need to be.
My apologies.
I'm like, we are here because we need to be, like, point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, we're here because we need to be. And sure enough, I calmed down. Now he tripping. Oh, shit. I don't know. I'm like, bruh, like, I just switched my shit over there to you. Like, energy just shifted.
Yeah, I think we gonna get it.
Yeah, and so he's
So I need to go smoke.
right, that part. I couldn't know because I didn't want to miss it. Man, I needed it. If I could have vaped over in the corner, I would have. I swear. But, he said, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. I said, I feel you, bro, but we're about to walk out of here with a dispensary. And he was like, you're right. And we both just chilled. And they called number 5, and it wasn't us. And he jumped up and screamed crazy out way. I folded and started crying like a little bitch. I couldn't believe it. And so my mom is texting me. She's like, what's up? She's at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm waiting. And I was like, we got it. She called me. She was like, shut the fuck up with your lying ass. No, Mom, we really got it. Just started crying. It was crazy. And at the time, I was a general manager over at a different dispensary, over at a dispensary around the corner. And so when the newspapers came up and shit, I was like, oh no, like no one knows.
I gotta get some things together first.
Period, because I didn't want it to be exposed that I was working on this until I separated with that dispensary. You know what I'm saying? But I needed to work at the dispensary to understand the Oakland market because it's so different, so special, so specific compared to every other market that I had worked in. And so I was grateful for that experience, and I wanted to kind of keep it until, you know what I mean, my shit got popping. And so we left there and we got to work and building money, whatever we needed, we put it together.
Man,
What a story.
And now you guys are, I see you with Camille. So like, how did that come about? Or why did you want to start fooling with the community like that? That's just something you chose to do, like.
So one thing, KMEL, cousin Dre is Tucky's brother.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out how that was working.
And so when I first met him, his vibe was just like there. You know what I'm saying? I'm very into energy, right? And so his energy was just over the top. So I'm like, oh my God, like, who are you and what do you do? And he's like, I'm a radio personality. He asked about coming to the store. I'm like, yeah, can you work just a couple of days? You know what I'm saying? And so he comes up here and he keeps everybody smiling. But for me, giving back to the community is important because, I'll tell you a quick story. I laugh because my team, I don't mind chicken, right? And so I'm one of the few black people on this planet that just I don't like chicken.
Fried chicken at all?
I don't want chicken. And if if you split a breast in half and stuff it with some ricotta cheese and some spinach and some shrimp or some shit, I'll eat it. But if you give me a wing, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy. Here's why. My staff, they were like, well, why would you eat chicken? Bri, like, what the fuck is that about? Bro, I grew up so fucking poor that when we ate chicken, that was like the luxury night. Like to have meat in a night was a luxury, and chicken was that luxury. So mentally, for me, I don't want that shit. I want lamb, I want fucking steak, I want pork chops, I want lobster. I want chicken, bro. And so when I was talking about this, one of the young ladies, Danny, she said, "Bri, you used to be poor," and it like punched me in the gut because I remember people here have no idea what I came from. They have no idea what I went through to get here. They only met me at this point, right? And so for me, I've always wanted to be what I didn't have. I didn't have shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have someone say, here, let me groom you into being better. Everything I got, I fought for. At Morgan Stanley, I started as a receptionist.
I started as
a receptionist. I answered the phones. Now I'm running operations. You know what I'm saying? I worked for that. Nobody was like, hey, Bri, you're just a hard worker. You really want to learn this? Nobody did that for me. And so for me, it's important that these kids learn something. And I have a little stuff like, I have a school that I'm going to have them sign up for where they can take courses on customer service, first time being a manager, Excel spreadsheets, whatever, and they get certificates in these classes. So maybe something opens up somewhere else in the workforce where I'm like, okay, I want you to be here, but this is a growth opportunity for you. Here's some certificates that you can take to them and say, hey, listen, here's what I've been able to accomplish. That's commendable. So it's important to me to give back, right? And so Oakland is not my city. I'm from Atlanta, but Oakland is the place that gave me this opportunity. So Oakland is who I have to feed. I will feed Atlanta through my own personal pockets, but through these pockets right here, Oakland has to eat. You understand what I'm saying? Like they have to. And so we do little things now. Obviously, ducking the red, like we talked about. There's only so much we can do, but donating money to the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? Those things are important. Giving free wellness events so that people can come learn about CBD and cannabis and get free products. Those things are important to me. We're going to do some stuff. I have to meet with the principal next week to figure out what the schools need in Oakland because I don't know.
Okay, so you're doing this personally out your own pocket, or?
Well, some of it's me and some of it's Blunts+Moore. Just depends on how it goes. Some of it's me and some of it's Blunts+Moore. Just depends on what the cause is. Some shit can't be Blunts+Moore. You know
I just think that's beautiful though. The concept is there. The willing to do it. You know what I mean? Willing to give back. And what even makes it a beautiful thing is she's not from the Bay. She's, what people will consider, just another outsider coming in here trying to capitalize. But no, but she's definitely, you're going on a whole different way. You're like, I'm going to give back to the place that gave me the opportunity to grow, help children. I'm just still shocked about employees. Like, I can remember when I started in the workforce, I didn't even know how to do Excel. I lied. I was like, oh yeah, I'm an expert. Don't test me because I will fail. But eventually you learn and you adapt. But that's huge to give those skills to, especially the younger folks. That's what this society and generation needs. They need those social skills and skills to get themselves situated, so that they're not outside just not doing nothing with themselves. At least you're giving them hope. I commend you on that. That's big. I didn't even know you for that. You know what I mean? But to hear that, I'm like, if more just people thought, business owners or independent business owners thought on that level, just things could possibly change and be better.
We have to invest in our staff. So I call them my kids, okay? I want to be clear, I'm only 33. I am not old enough to be their mother, but I call them my kids. But for me, I want to invest in them because they're investing their time and coming here every day and making the money. Like, I'm not downstairs selling this shit. They are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I used to be, but I'm not now. I'm like, oh, hey, I keep walking. But I'm not the one who's bringing in the money. They are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I may make decisions that contribute to it, but they're the ones every day down there doing this shit. And they need to be empowered. They need to be uplifted. They need to learn. They need to grow. They need to be able to do more tomorrow than what they could do when they walked in here. You know what I'm saying? And that's critical for me. And again, coming into the corporate world that I was in and not having anyone give a fuck about my development really pushed me. And I've been a manager across a couple of different industries, you know what I'm saying? And I know what it's like to start from the bottom. And I didn't jump into any position as a manager. I had to start from the very bottom. So I know what everybody needs from every level, from the bottom up to where I am. You know what I mean?
But you're sharing the knowledge, and that's what people don't do. Like they hoard information in, you know what I mean? You can ask them like, hey, how did you get there? Like, they're not gonna tell you the whole thing. They'll be like, oh, just, this and that. It's like, I never understand why people do that, but to hear you say like, you started from the bottom, you know the process from start to finish, and you're willing to invest in them, that's big.
And with the podcast, like when I first seen this building come up right here, it's like right by my house. I saw the building, I'm like, okay. Like right when it started coming up, it's kind of like when me and her kind of came up with the idea, and then I told my other friend about like, I want to do Keep It Lit podcast. Have we there?
Didn't you and KP first come by when we had like our first film? You guys came through because I remember seeing this flyer, right? Like we had all the Moore and like
our first episode. And they were closest to my house.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then when I actually researched you, I'm like, it's a black woman and on that. I'm like, well, I gotta go meet her. Like something in my spirit said, I gotta meet her. They were
staff all the clubs
right.
into.
That's critical for me. I've let go of a couple of people who were solid but just had the wrong energy. We have to. It's called a fucking happy story, bro. Like,
Don't feel my
vibe. When you used to going to your little dope boy homeboy, chucking it up a little bit, dabbing up, smoking a little blunt with him on the way out. You're used to being able to have that kind of relationship. I don't want it to feel like a transaction when people come in here. Yeah. I want it to feel like I'm chilling with my people. They got their fires for the
they make a recommendation.
That's how Danny made us feel though. Danny definitely made us feel. Yeah. Shout out to Danny, man. She dope, man. She definitely made us feel.
Yeah, because you guys came back with some different strains. I remember. Right. I'm not a smoker, but they were like we interviewed.
T-shirts and
there was
Viola hat. Yeah, it was a Viola hat. So that was cool. But like I was saying, back to this though, like when I found out you was a black woman that was on this thing, I'm like, I gotta meet her. And then in my head, I'm like, she ain't gonna want to meet me. Like she was like, what the fuck? And then surprisingly, you hit me back. Like I'm gonna meet you. So I'm like, man, I'm going. Like
she was so excited. She's like, Bri hit me back. Do you know who that is?
Like, don't put me on blast, bro. I'm really excited. Tell me more.
This is big. We gotta do this.
Right. I definitely wanted to meet you on my podcast. Like I feel like women in the industry, rap, podcasting, whatever, we kind of get looked at. We don't get taken serious. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you took me serious, like I'm fool with you, like I fool with my community, like your whole energy that day when I met you was like, oh, she cool, like. I'm fooling with Blunts+Moore. Like we definitely support her.
I appreciate the support. I appreciate the excitement. That excitement. You don't understand. Like I know this shit. I can't even lie. Half the shit I say today, man, I've heard somebody else say, and I'm like, cliche. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, this is what they meant. You know what I mean? That excitement like fuels me, bro. Like I came in here one day and there was a young lady and she was like shaking. She turned around, she started shaking and crying. So I'm like, oh my god, my first thought was, what's wrong? So I like running to her. I go, oh my god, baby, what's wrong? I go to hug her. I'm a hugger. And so I go to hug her. She's like, ah. And so she can't even speak to me. And I'm thinking something is wrong. And I'm about to cry. Cause I'm like, what happened? What the fuck did y'all do to this girl? Like, where did you get her? And she's just like, I'm so excited to meet you. And she's like, that's how I feel. I was poor. But no, are you sure that you feel? That's the seminary tip that we're talking about here. Tip was like, what up, you were so tall. Like, that was young. I'm like, whoa, she's tall. I gotta look up to her. Like, but like, this woman said to me that for someone to look like her to be able to do this, and growing up my whole life, I've understood that concept, but I've never been the person to make someone else feel like that shit. Feel me? I went so hard that week, bro. Like, I've been getting all the weed in here, every single strand.
Now that you just said that, how many different products does Blunts+Moore have?
So typically we try to keep, I think we have about 280 SKUs right now. Right now, I'll tell y'all a little secret. My distro is hating on me. They are upset because they want a piece of the pie and I'm not going to give them. So they slowed up. My product dropped off, but I went around some loopholes just Friday. Okay. And I should have my shit back to order next week. But I'm kind of upset right now. It's a dirty game out here, unfortunately.
That's okay. You've been through a lot. And I don't see you not accomplishing. I mean, just for your story from the beginning, I mean, just keep pushing.
So really, business is booming though.
It's alright.
It's cool? Okay.
She's being modest. So where do we see Blunts+Moore, like, in the next... I'm just thinking 2 years from now, do we see another chain store anywhere soon? Are we going back to Atlanta? Are we going back to Denver? What are we doing?
So I kind of play it right here, right? So I've had people, I'll be honest with you, and no disrespect to any of the people who contacted me, but I've had people contact me about franchises. They're not the right people. not the right fit. It's not the right intention. With this being the very first social equity dispensary in the world, it's only right to preserve what that is.
Okay.
And the people that want to form franchises and things don't have in mind what I have in mind. They don't have my morals, my mission, my agenda in mind.
And they'll try to churn it. They'll try to change it. Yeah.
I had a group come in here to, first of all, they said, give you some money. First of all, who told you I needed money?
That's what I'm not. Obviously, I'm a
They want to run
And
your
they
stuff.
said, not only will we give you money that you have to pay back, so you're coming to offer me a loan at random.
Right.
But they wanted to change the name to their name.
Oh, hell.
Wow.
I mean, just
Wow.
disrespectful, right?
That's
Wow.
how it's gonna take over.
Right,
Right.
just disrespectful. And
Like
so,
here goes the little, like how they do gentrification with homes. Like, knock, knock, here's your home. Let me give you X amount of dollars. Not people realizing that you just sold off your
Right.
deed and your loan,
Right.
and now you're up out of here. So,
right. And so it's very predatory out here. And, you know, some of the things, even before we got this place, some of the things, the deals that we were facing, I'm grateful to God that I was the person who partnered with Alfonso, because if the wrong person did, this would be a disgusting situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, as far as Blunts+Moore goes, I kind of want it to be a one-off. I'm entertaining some other ideas with some other people for some other things, but I don't want to taint what this is, right? As far as Atlanta goes, hell yeah.
Do you want to,
Yes.
eventually go back to Atlanta and
Yeah.
kind of with the same formula? I know there's like, at least in California, maybe another store in Los Angeles, or Sacramento, or something where
We're
you.
looking into some other options.
What you
I'll
thinking,
wait till
Roy?
they start coming around before I speak
Yeah.
on them. But yeah, looking at some other options. I go to Atlanta probably once a month to talk about cannabis down there, meet with politicians to see what's going on. They're trying to do some good old boy shit. So Atlanta is 54.6% black, right? Georgia is not. And so it's a different demographic, and unfortunately the legislation is state, not city. And so we as Atlantans are trying to go in and just make sure that we're a part of this game. You know what I mean? 100%. And so it's so incredible, because a lot of these meetings I go to at home, they've heard about us, they know about us. They're like, oh, Oakland first social equity, Oakland first social equity. And then they find out it's me, like, oh my God, like you went out there and did that shit. I'm like, yeah,
You pulled it off.
You're like,
I'm trying to come here and do the same thing, get your shit together.
Right.
But I definitely want to expand. I just want to make sure I'm careful about what it looks like, and so that it doesn't water down what we're trying to do.
Right, so you're trying to protect your brain, if anything. Like you want to.
Absolutely. Keep
Right,
it
right,
down.
And this program,
Organic.
I mean, beyond the brand, this program.
So is that program still doing this again, or that was just a one-time thing?
So right now it's a one-time thing, but it's also for or excuse me, it's not a one-time thing. I misspoke. It's ongoing, but they're not issuing licenses right now. But it's in law that whatever licenses are issued, 50% have to go through the equity program. And so the program is also used for cultivation and distribution and manufacturing and other licenses as well. So there are a lot of people that are going through the program. They just don't get as much recognition because they're not a retail store.
Sure.
And so a lot of the reporting around us, they try to make it negative, right? They want to make it seem like the program's not working, or oh, look at this criminal who got a handout. You know what I'm saying? That kind of
Like
thing.
rehabilitation and stuff.
They try to make it sound unsuccessful because they're frightened of what it looked like, right?
Yeah.
And so we've got Chicago, Maryland, Boston, Jersey. Everybody's talking about, re-implementing this program into their systems. And so that was fearful. Now that it's kind of becoming this thing that everyone is cool with, now Oakland's like, yeah, we did that. And it's funny because, no respect to anyone, but some of the people who are taking the credit and acting all proud are the same people who were fighting against it.
Right, they really didn't want it, man.
The pioneers.
We won't say any names, but it's credit, because they try to discredit Desley a lot. You know what I mean? And she fought. Oh my gosh, she fought so much for this. And people, the program's not perfect. The program's not perfect. The program is all that she could make of it with what they allowed, right? And so she had been fighting for this for months. And while it's not perfect, it's a foundation to be able to build on top of.
Right, I was just going to say, because there's always going to be fine-tuning with things.
Right,
Things are
right.
going to come and work and not work, and what may work for one organization may not work for others, so that does set stone for things.
Definitely. I'm just certainly glad to be a part of it, man. Shout out the contractors for getting this building built first.
I have a question.
This is the biggest club I've ever seen, though. honestly.
Mhm.
I have a question about the colors. So I'm from San Francisco, so when I see orange and black, I'm thinking Giants colors, right?
Gotcha.
So what are the colors? Do the colors mean anything?
So, quick sellout moment, if you will. We met with a marketing team, and everything that I'm red and black. Go Falcons. But we met with the marketing team, and they had done a study on what colors say to everybody, right? And so their thing was to make sure that we were inclusive of everyone, right? And so, of course, when you have certain marketing teams, they don't want to be too urban,
right?
Because I was gonna call this shit a whole bunch of different stuff. They were like, no, I don't think so, which they were probably right. But orange says inclusive. It says affordable but not cheap. It says there's one more that was important: inclusive, affordable, something else. But it basically
it's like a neutral too. It's like,
but if you think about it, Home Depot, Amazon, you know what I'm saying?
It's expensive.
Exactly. But then you have the red, which I love, that says more elite, and instead of inclusive, it's exclusive. You know what I mean? And so you've got your Verizons and things like that. They use the red,
right?
And so it kind of psychologically it means different, right? Exactly. So I was like, all right, we want to definitely be inclusive and affordable. Let's go orange. And so out of the list, I think each color had 20 words or so, and out of all of them, orange was the one that was popular.
I was wondering, I'm like,
crazy, right? 'Cause I hate orange. I think but it stands out.
It totally stands out. Like I was driving up here 66, and Waze was like, make a quarter right on Sillian. I'm like, what the fuck is this place? It says right here, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, look. Bright orange side. I'm like, look at your turn. But I mean, if it wasn't for that bright orange, I wouldn't have seen it, So
it's down to the point where my mom, we were getting off a plane, and she saw something orange in the chair. She's like, is that Blunts+Moore? I'm like, we are in Detroit? No, that's not
Blunts+Moore. A lot of the cannabis is following that same orange because Chill just came out in that orange.
I'm probably you don't say it out there, but that's how it usually happens. Just like the Keep It Lit podcast, we're not gonna go that even further there,
but it's flattering. You know what I mean? It's so funny because I won't say any names, and if they ever see this, they know it's them. But there are other people, right? There are other people, other dispensaries who I see just like stalk our pages, and then all of a sudden they start like doing the same type shit. Bro, you've been open for 7-8 years. You ain't never did this shit. Now you see us doing all of a sudden you got boom going on. Okay.
Which we shall remain nameless.
Right. But I see with your cannabis club, you had the twerkulator bus out there. Like I see that you guys be really dealing with celebrities. Like I don't see no other cannabis club doing what you doing. How you doing it? Like ain't nobody doing it. Like I see Megan Stallion at Blunts+Moore. I'm like, hey, but Megan Stallion. I'm like, look. I'm like, wow. Like this shit is crazy.
It's the same formula I apply to the dab. So the difference with the dab in Denver was I had to compete with about 700 other dispensaries.
Oh shit.
So I had to figure out how the fuck do I make us stand out.
Right.
And I've got 4 on the same street within a mile. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out here, like, it's so saturated. I'm like, bro, it's 9 of us. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Like, right now. So there's licenses for 16, only 9 of us are open right now. A couple are coming soon. And so, but the formula was lifestyle, like be a part of the lifestyle. For me, no disrespect to Denver, it wasn't as much about community as it was just we trying to win. Right. For me here, it's like I want the engagement. This is mine, right? And so I wanted to speak to who I am, and I want people to come here and have experiences. Whether it be the Twerkulator or Chef Smelly is here, or when they came out, Harrington was here, or whatever.
We missed all of that.
Oh my God, girl, run through our Instagram, it's lit. But my favorite was Lil Baby when he came the first time. So the first time he came, my homie is Felix from Gas House, right? And so he owns this club in Atlanta called the Mansion Elon. And so the Mansion hosts everybody. Future, Migos, Cardi B was down there for the Super Bowl. So he has access to all of these artists. So Lil Baby was in town for a concert, and Felix hit him up, and he's like, bro, I got this chick, she got a dispensary, she wants you to fuck with it, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, cool, bring me something. And so Felix was like, well, actually,
you gonna go there.
You gonna go there. He told him, he said, she's a young black chick from Atlanta, blah, blah, blah. He was like, okay, cool. He was like, we'll get up now. Because they were supposed to leave, but he was like, if we get up now, we can make it to y'all before we have to leave. Right. And so he got up, he came through, and if you could see this man, you could tell he was struggling and needed every bit of that last hour of sleep, but said, fuck it, so he could come support this shit, right? So he came in and he walked in, he just was like, wow. He was like, it's so fucking big. And so we chopped it up for a little bit. And I said something about, you know, coming out of Summer Hill. So I grew up in an area called Summer Hill. It was a very, very rough neighborhood. And drugs, that was it. It was just drugs everywhere. We ain't gonna talk about what kinds, but it was just drugs everywhere. I was like,
Hardcore drugs, basically what she trying to say.
And baby, and I said, you know, I grew up in Summer Hill. I'm supposed to be a drug dealer. And he said, wait, what?
He said, hold on.
He said, you grew up in Summer Hill? I said, yeah. And so people that aren't from Atlanta don't know what this means. The fact that you make it out to do anything is crazy, but this, you know what I mean? So he was like, and you did this? He was like, fuck. He's like, you made it. And he just looked like he was so proud. You know what I'm saying? He was just talking to me about the business aspect of it and that type of thing. You know, great conversations, super dope. He took all the videos he could, put it all over his Snap, right? I mean, his Instagram. Mm-hmm. Fast forward when he was just here the other night for Summer Jam. He popped up and
what's his favorite strap?
I don't know. We give him everything when you come in this. I don't know. Give it to him. But he put it without, you know, being solicited, if you will. He put it all over the gram. The gram. And he said. I go to Blunts+Moore every time I come to Oakland. Wow. He said, tell them Lil Baby sent you.
Oh, that's big.
Like,
that's
big.
That's your tag on right there. I'm going to be having that lights.
Bruh, seriously. And so it just, the level of support, it was dope. Then another day, Neo sung the damn national anthem across the street. And his wife was like, you know where the tree's at? And somebody told her, cross the street. And they popped up just on, you know, some humbug shit, just, you know, randomly. And so it's been dope. Just, it's been very authentic, I think, is what's so dope about it. You know what I'm saying? And you know. Yeah, man, yeah. And then when they realize what our story looks like, they're just like, look, if we can help it, we can support it, let's do it. You know what I mean? It's been dope.
I walked in here, I was like, comfortable. I said, ooh, the AC sat down, crossed my legs, I'm looking, I'm like, everything I sit there, I just felt so comfortable. And I felt like, you know what? Because you don't know what you're walking into. When you walk up, you just see security. I'm like, we have an appointment. And he's like, with who? I was like, well, you know what? I'm really not the one, but I really need the bathroom. But our crew is right up there. He's like, come around. Yeah. But then, you know, not knowing what you're walking into. And then I walked into, I was like, it's like the skies open up. Ta-da! And I was like, I feel nice in there.
The outside of the building doesn't really reflect what's going on in here. It used to be a Napa Auto Parts, man. But no. Our security is there to make sure nobody brings weapons in. Not to be like, no, you can't come here unless you have a appointment. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, look, don't go in there with your knives and your pistols and shit. You know, that's it.
But that's also part of the compliance that you said earlier, right? That you gotta pay the taxes on. I'm sure they have hardcore, like, you gotta have X amount of this. So
you definitely have to have an army guard out here. So,
so what made y'all come up with the location? Take the location.
So, girl. We had a lot of other locations that we looked at, and they weren't great. And so at the lottery, there was a guy that gave Tucky a folder, and he's like, "Look, we got building, capital, product, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Yeah, right." You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a Marine. Get out of here. Right. And so we met with all these other people, and everybody wanted a piece of the business, right? To rent a space, little spaces too. And outrageous, I want 9%. We just talked about the numbers, right?
Yeah.
I want 9% of your company to lease you your space. Whoa. You know what I mean? Like,
they knew you about to make some money.
We had, I can't even say. I gotta be careful because they'll know who they are if they ever see this. But we had someone try to jug us out of 50% of our business to
shut the front door.
And the beginning of the contract that they said in my face. First of all, they said a contract in my face upon meeting, right? And so the contract that they said in my face, it was all this, we give $1 million. And so Tucky's like, they gonna give us $1 million, shit, I'll sign right now. Right. He's like, he was joking, but he kind of was like, God damn, like, and I'm like, bro, $1 million ain't shit compared to what the fuck this can make. You understand what I'm saying? And so I'm like, nah, fuck that. And as you read, it's like, we just want to take over your business. We want to take a part of the, flipping through pages. We want to take a part of your profits. We want to take a part of your equity. all these things. We want to be able to outvote you. I mean, all of this craziness. And I was so pissed. I'm getting pissed as I'm flipping through. You gotta understand, I came from the corporate world. So this is insulting to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am pissed. First of all, why do I have a contract? I just met you. We haven't even had a conversation. So at the back, so I'm flipping through, I'm like, fuck this. So I'm just kind of hearing out the rest of the conversation to be polite. And so the agent of the person who's trying to scam us is like, oh, you gotta sign the NDA at the back. I said, what?
I'm not
I said, I'm not signing shit. So he's like, you gotta sign the NDA. I said, you should have presented me the NDA before you gave me the contract.
Right.
Oh, well, it's on the back, So I flip and I see, and I was like, no, I'm not signing this. It's at the back of the contract. I'll be signing the contract.
Right.
And he's like, oh, no. He says, oh, no. No, it's different. It's just stapled to it. I said, so why does it say page 14 of 14?
No.
This is the contract. And I was furious. And I went to the meeting thinking these people were trying to help us, right? And so it just kind of, that was the first painting of the picture. And then as I met with everybody else, they were just trying to jig us out of everything. When we met with the people that own this building, also trying to judge us, at least they had this fucking building. You know what I'm saying? So I can at least entertain a negotiation, right? And so they have no ownership whatsoever, right? And so we ended up with lease, but they wanted 50% as well. But I was going to haggle with them because they're across the street from the Oracle Arena. They're across the street from Coliseum. Tucky grew up down the street, and he's like, to be here would be fucking incredible. I'm looking at all the space. I'm like, bro, we gotta be here. Let's just,
it made sense.
Right.
Let's haggle down. And we did, and we're here, and I'm grateful for it.
Man, well, I'm happy we got to interview you for the podcast, man. It's nice to meet another black woman in the game, you know what I'm saying? And hearing your story now, like, that's amazing. I didn't know you came from nothing like that. Like, you don't like chicken, you just eat no chicken. That's crazy.
Unless we put some ricotta or spinach up in there, we gotta make it. Let's not.
She weren't eating chicken. Let me just help you understand. My mom would dump a can of, or the little container of chicken broth in a pot and dump a bag of beans in that pot and boil it, and that's what I ate for weeks. Freeze that shit. And that's what I ate for weeks, every day. School lunch was like a savior to me. You know what I'm saying? To be able to eat something different. So when we ate chicken, it was that luxury meal. Oh, thank God we can have chicken tonight. Fuck you, chicken.
I don't want that.
But y'all hearing it first when they keep it in the podcast, Bri came from the bottom of the bottom. She eat chicken broth, burger. Right. You feel me? And now she an owner, you know what I'm saying, in Oakland. So it's very inspiring to see that you came from that and to be doing what you're doing now, man. Like,
that's what creates the hunger.
That's amazing, man.
If I came from something that was already together, I wouldn't be hungry for more. You know what I'm saying? If my life was easy, what would I want? My life is easy. My life being shit was where I was, okay, I gotta go and I gotta keep going. And not only do I have to keep going, but I gotta drag everybody I can with me on it.
Right. What advice could you give another entrepreneur or anybody else trying to, we won't even say this industry, right? But just starting off, following the passion. What advice? Because we have a lot of people, young audience, you know, that the Bay Area, we are the melting pot of doing our own hustle, you know? What would you recommend, or at least some advice or pointers out there to our viewers and listeners?
Stick with your craft, right? So sometimes, and you said I don't have to apply to this industry, but I will, I'm sorry. I say stick with your craft. I had a young man call me my cousin's homeboy. I told him, stop telling your friends what I do. Right. But he called me one night, and he's like, oh, you know, Bri, I want to get in the industry. I'm thinking about quitting school. I'm like, what? Quitting school? That sounds insane. Well, you know, I can go to a cannabis school. No. What are you in school for? Accounting? Okay, great. Be an accountant in the cannabis space.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Stick to what you're good at. I'm only the GM because I was always operational.
Sure.
Stick to whatever it is that you're good at and apply that to what you want to do. Don't do it for the money. I know that sounds so cliche, bro, but I do not move for this money at all. I move based on what I want to do, what fulfills me, what makes me happy. And that's what's working for me. I was at Morgan Stanley for the money. I told you it was
right.
working.
And I can agree with you right there. So I mean, the money looks good, but all the bullshit and stress. Like you just said, you had a heart attack at 29. That's not. I'd rather have my life than to have like 80, 90 G's just right there than knowing that by the time I'm 35, I'm dead.
Right. 80, 90 G's in Cali ain't shit.
Right. No, you can't. 250,000.
In Atlanta, you're balling with 80 or 90 G's.
Well, let me move to Atlanta then.
Out here, it's like ramen noodles and an Uber, please.
Right. That is Uber, and that's not the Uber, it's lit.
Right, real shit.
And it's a shared lift, okay? Let's keep it 100.
Shared lift.
No, I'm let's keep it 100.
Right, keep it lit. Keep it lit, period.
Hopefully next time time y'all come, I'll have a consumption license so we can keep it lit. You feel me?
Oh,
Right,
man,
right, right.
I
Or maybe I'll tell the
definitely-
twerkulator to come through. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely do that. We
down. I'm
down.
down for the cause.
That's what's
So we
up.
wrapping this up, man. We on the Keep It Lit podcast with Bri, man, the owner, the operator of Blunts+Moore, man, a female black from the bottom, eat chicken broth, man. And she keeping it lit with us, man. We out of here, man. We out, man.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram.
Smoking on kills on gelato. Shout out Filthy. Blowing gas like a nigga hit the lotto. Loud pack in a Gucci print backpack. I do the dash in a 392 scat pack.